Okay, let's dive into this because it's a scenario that literally strikes panic into the hearts of teenagers and parents alike. You know the feeling. You're brushing your hair, and not only are you seeing those embarrassing white flakes all over your shoulders, but you're also looking down at an alarming amount of hair left behind in the brush. It is incredibly stressful. But is your flaky scalp actually causing your hair to fall out? Today, we're going to unpack the actual science behind this super scary connection. Welcome to this explainer. Our goal today is pretty simple. We're going to totally destigmatize teenage scalp issues and give you the evidence-based, dermatologist-backed solutions you need to get back to having a healthy, flake-free scalp and strong, healthy hair. Here's a quick look at our roadmap. We'll be covering the teenage dandruff dilemma, hormones, yeast and stress, the hair fall connection, decoding medicated shampoos, natural home remedies, and finally, lifestyle tips for healthy hair. Starting right off with Section 1, the teenage dandruff dilemma. Why now? Look, if you or your teen are dealing with this, you already know the emotional and physical frustration is very, very real. But we need to be absolutely emphatic about this right from the jump. Dandruff is a completely normal part of puberty. It is not in any way a sign of poor hygiene or that you're somehow dirty. Almost anyone can have dandruff, but it incredibly frequently kicks off right around puberty. It's not your fault, and even more importantly, it's not contagious. You can't catch it, and you can't give it to anyone else. It is just biology. Let's move into Section 2, hormones, yeast, and stress, the science of flakes. So what's the actual root cause here? And this brilliantly illustrates the biological chain reaction happening right on top of your head. Step 1, puberty causes massive hormonal shifts, specifically big surges in hormones like testosterone. Step 2, those hormones kick your sebaceous glands into absolute overdrive, producing excess sebum, which is just oil. Step 3, and honestly, this is a pretty surprising fact. There's a naturally occurring yeast called Malassezia living on everyone's scalp right now. Yep, everyone's. But this yeast absolutely loves extra oil. It feasts on it, breaking it down into byproducts like oleic acid. Which brings us to Step 4. For a lot of teens, this acid triggers a severe inflammatory response. Your scalp gets irritated, highly sensitive, and starts shedding dead skin cells at a crazy accelerated rate. And boom, you've got visible dandruff. Now, often, when the flaking gets really heavy, red, and irritated, doctors refer to this as seborrheic dermatitis. It's basically the medical term for the more severe, stubborn end of the dandruff spectrum. It's this exact inflammatory response to the yeast that causes the extreme itchiness and those thick, greasy scales that can be so incredibly hard to get rid of. All right, Section 3, the hair fall connection, myth versus fact. It's time to address the elephant in the room, the very real fear of losing your hair because of a flaky scalp. We need to clearly differentiate between two distinct things here: normal shedding and actual breakage. When you have severe dandruff, your scalp is incredibly itchy, right? The natural reaction is to scratch, and usually to scratch hard. But this intense scratching physically damages the hair shaft, literally causing the hair to snap and break off. So it looks like your hair falling out from the root is often actually mechanical breakage caused by damage from your own fingernails. On top of that, the severe inflammation on the scalp can temporarily weaken the hair follicles, which does lead to a little bit of extra shedding, but you can put all of this to bed with prevention, not treatment. So do your research, start with the scalp care first, and make sure that you're subscribed to this channel for all the latest and best advice that is available for hair care. But I want you to take a huge breath of relief right here, because the science is very clear. Dandruff does not cause permanent hair loss. Hair can grow back once the scalp recovers. So the crucial point is this: the flaking itself isn't permanently killing off your hair follicles. If you can just soothe the inflammation and stop the aggressive scarching, your hair is going to recover and grow right back. The whole key is treating the scalp. Which brings us to Section 4, decoding medicated shampoos, your pharmacy toolkit. So how do we actually treat it? Well, a stronger shampoo isn't always better. It's really about matching the specific active ingredient to your unique symptoms. For example, if you just have mild, occasional flakes, zinc purithionein is your go-to for regular, everyday control. But let's say your dandruff keeps coming back and is clearly driven by that stubborn Malassezia yeast and inflammation, you're going to want to look for ketoconazole. And if your scalp is super oily with thick, yellowish, stubborn scaling, selenium sulfide is absolutely going to be your best bet to slow down that cellular turnover. But here's the thing. Having the right shampoo is only half the battle. You have to use it correctly. You generally want to use these 2 to 3 times a week. Massage it gently into the scalp,
Remember, no scratching. And here's literally the most important part that almost everyone misses. You must leave it on for about 5 minutes before you rinse. This is medicine, you guys. It needs actual time to bind to the scalp and do its job. Finally, because these medicated shampoos can be a bit drying, always follow up with a hydrating conditioner. But, pro tip, only apply it to the ends of your hair. Totally avoid the roots. Next up, Section 5, Natural Home Remedies, the Kitchen Apothecary. Now, if you want to supplement your pharmacy routine, or if you're just looking for a gentler, more natural approach, your kitchen might actually hold the answers. First up is an absolute classic, coconut oil. And this isn't just some old folktale, it is totally backed by science. Coconut oil is an incredible deep moisturizer for a dry scalp. But even better, it has natural antimicrobial properties that actively help fight off that Malassezia fungus. Plus, it can penetrate the hair shaft to prevent damage. Massaging some warm coconut oil into the scalp and leaving it for about 30 minutes before washing makes for a fantastic weekly treatment. Then we have aloe vera. If your scalp is literally on fire from all the itching, raw aloe vera gel is a total lifesaver. It instantly cools and soothes that severe itchiness. Plus, it's packed with antifungal and antibacterial properties that actively reduce scalp inflammation. You just apply the gel, let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour, and wash it out. Easy. And just to touch on a few other quick kitchen staples, apple cider vinegar is fantastic for balancing the pH of your scalp, making it a really hostile environment for yeast to grow. Baking soda can be massaged very gently onto a wet scalp for just a minute to exfoliate away dead skin cells. And mixing just a little bit of lemon juice with coconut oil gives you a nice boost of vitamin C and citric acid to fight infection and balance out that pH. Moving on to Section 6, Lifestyle Tips for Healthy Hair, the Holistic Approach. External treatments are great, obviously, but your external hair health is a direct reflection of your internal habits. We really need to take a holistic approach here, and what you eat matters immensely. Nutritional deficiencies literally starve your hair follicles, and that triggers shedding. This is especially true for teenage girls, where heavy menstrual periods can cause iron loss, which leads to a drop in hemoglobin and weaker hair overall. You absolutely need iron-rich foods, lean proteins, adequate zinc, and vitamin D. And please, I can't stress this enough, avoid extreme crash diets. Drastic weight loss deprives your body of the essential nutrients it needs to sustain healthy hair growth. Your day-to-day habits play a massive role too. Wash your hair regularly, especially after you've been sweating in gym class or playing sports, because sweat buildup basically feeds the yeast. You also want to avoid super tight, pulling hairstyles, like slicked back high ponytails, that cause traction, alopecia, and breakage. Also, stress is a major trigger for dandruff flare-ups, so find ways to manage academic and social pressure, whether that's yoga, meditation, or honestly just going for a walk. And surprisingly enough, catching just a little bit of safe sunlight outdoors can actually help keep dandruff under control. Okay, quick caveat here. If you've tried the medicated shampoos, you've tried the home remedies, and things just aren't improving, or if your scalp is painful, red, and swollen, it is time to see a dermatologist. Don't wait around. A professional can properly diagnose if you're dealing with something deeper, like scalp psoriasis or an underlying medical condition causing the hair fall, like a thyroid imbalance or PCOS. So we've gone through the whole shebang. We've covered the biology, busted the myths, looked at the medicated options, and talked through the holistic habit. You now have a complete, evidence-based toolkit to stop the itch, clear those flakes, and protect your hair. The power really is in your hands now. So ask yourself, which of these remedies are you going to try first to reclaim your scalp? Start tonight, stay consistent, and watch your hair thrive again.